Hi, I'm John Twist of University Motors. It's October 2023. I've had this Midget in my shop for far too long and I'm getting it done finally. So I want to show you what's been going on. The car was worked on heavily before. It was very rusted at one point in its life. When I got it, it had a coating of tar over almost everything. So I took a propane torch and a scraper and I scraped every little bit of tar that I could get in old paint and crap and goo and all kinds of stuff off it. And then I used my rotary brush. Let me just show you what this is. I used this guy here. This is mean. This is really mean. And I ran this over the whole inside, outside, bottom side, left side, right side, and got it as clean as I could. But let's just take a look at some of the stuff on this Midget as we're going along. So you can see where people have done some repairs before. This is not factory welding. Some of the welding that's been done is really nice. Some of it, like up in here, I'm not sure it's really attached to anything, but there's some pretty good sized panels here that have been replaced prior to me getting it. So since I got it, we put on the sills, and those have been welded on. I've cleaned the whole bottom side. You can see little places where it's perforated. And I wouldn't have found those, only that I burned off all the tar and the goo and the filler. These slots, what are those slots for? Why would you have a slot in the bottom of the car like that? Well, if you've looked at pictures from the factory, you'll see that they had these big straps that came down, and they had hooks on them. The hooks went in here, straps went up the side of the car, and that's where they lifted the car, the whole body, from the trim deck, which was up above, down to the assembly line. So at the trim deck, they put all the trim, obviously, trim deck, put all the trim in the car, and then put it down on the line where they put on the suspension and put the engine and gearbox in. So coming back, this is my contraption here for my rotisserie. So anyway, along here we can see there's some real punky rust here, and someone again before has welded in some stuff here, and this body has yet to go to the sandblaster. We got some perforation. See perforation up in here and in here. But it's once it comes back from the sandblaster, we'll take a look and see how much of that has to be filled. Over here we've got some holes and some other holes. So the rear straps that held this from the trim deck when they set it down on the assembly line, they must have hooked into these holes somehow, some way. So we've got the panel here that goes behind the front seat and comes back around, and someone in the past has already welded in a brand new floor for the trunk and done some repair up here. And we've put on not the rear fenders, we didn't do those, but we did put on the whole back end of the car. This thing moves pretty easily. Let me just push it ahead, and this is the advantage of a rotisserie. We come around here to the back, and you can see that we've done some repair here, putting in this whole panel on the back side. And we're going to turn the camera off for a minute so I can get this prepped, and we're going to spin it around so we can see the other side. Our homemade rotisserie, it's not perfectly balanced, but it does turn pretty easily. This is the only advantage of having some weight on your body. Let me pin the front so that and get this out of the way, and then Sarah can look at some stuff here. And again, we're taking a look at the body underneath. We've had some repair done up here. You can see that. Not so much here, but the floor pans, I gotta pass in front of the camera, bad technique. The floor pans here have been completely replaced, and the seam has come along here in the bottom. This seam wouldn't naturally exist quite like this, but it's gosh, it's nice and solid, and it works, you know, so there's no problem with this integrity of the body. So there's been a lot of repair done, and there'll be some more welding done, which we'll show you as we go along, and before we actually get it to the body shop and get a coat of black paint on it. Just to comment about colors, red is the most expensive color to paint because red paint is so frightfully expensive. Hundreds of dollars, or maybe even more than $1,000 now per gallon for red paint because of the dyes that are involved. But a black car is really difficult to get a nice even surface on it because the prep work takes so long. Black paint isn't especially expensive, and nor is white paint, but you've got to do prep because a black car shows up every flaw. White is the best. You can have ripples. You can have 1/4-inch ripples in a white car. Can't see them. But a white car always looks like a teenager. There's always zits on it some places. They're real hard to keep clean. Obviously, so is a black car. But this one's going to be black. It left factory black, and it's going to be black again. So until later, safety fast.